Hey guys, in this video we're going to be checking out the Eaglet 85. This is from Gearbest. It's a brushless micro drone, and it's kind of intended for indoor flying. Got some pretty big 1104 7500 kV motors. Got these nice carbon fiber prop guards and some 3D printed parts here. You got these little braces here from the arms to the prop guard to hold it in place. I believe this is some sort of like nylon or ABS. And then you got TPU here for the canopy, and inside here I've got my it's the all-in-one video transmitter camera. It's like I think it's the CM2751 with the OSD, the same one that came in the Makerfire Armor 67. And you can see the two buttons there for changing your bands and channels. And then this other antenna here is the FlySky FS88S receiver. I had to add that myself. This comes as a plug-and-play only, I believe. It doesn't come with a receiver option. So in order to get the receiver in here, you do have to take the canopy off, and there's two screws here that hold it on. There's one right there and one right there. You take those off, the canopy pops off, and then you need to find the pads for the receiver, which is right next to the OSD, which is right there. And I'll put a little picture up here what that looks like, a little close-up detail. So getting the receiver in there wasn't that difficult. I just soldered on a little pigtail, plugged it into my FlySky receiver, and then routed the antenna out the little hole in here in the top, and works pretty well. The board is Omnibus F3 flight controller. It's the basically I think it's the Furby F3 fly tower that I reviewed a while back. And you get that plus a 10 amp 4-in-1 ESC. It's rotated 45 degrees to maximize the space here for the props. You can see here plenty of space for the props to spin. And the only downside to this is that the USB port, which is right here, is pretty hard and tricky to plug into. So I had to kind of find a flexible cable to get in right here. You have to sort of position the prop and get that plugged in. But it is possible. It is just a little bit tricky, but it's kind of annoying. You got a lot of like little metal screws and nuts that are holding the prop guards on here. You can see here and here. And it does not come with a battery. And I tried this battery here. This is the 350 milliampere 2S. This is the one that came with the King Kong 95 GT, 110 GT. Comes with a JST connector. It's an okay battery. And when I was doing the line of sight testing, you'll see here in a minute, I initially was okay. Then I started doing some acro flips, and then I got the dreaded flip of death. And immediately my thoughts were, oh, well, you know, these are 1104 motors, 7500 kV, and these are about, you know, almost 2-inch 5-bladed props, so it's probably drawing too much power. My initial thoughts were to swap out this, or cut off this JST and put an XT30 on. But what I decided to do instead was to go with this eSheen battery. This is the one that came with the Aurora 100. Comes with the JST connector. This is actually a pretty good battery. It's a bit bigger, 450. I flew this for the FPV flight demo, you'll see, and I had no issues whatsoever with flips of death. I flew the full 3 minutes on that battery. I think I had even some extra power left over, no problem. So definitely I think that you should be okay with the JST. You're just going to need a very good battery. So as I mentioned, didn't come with the battery, no manual, not a whole lot in the box. You do get a spare set of props and a couple of these 3D printed braces, and it's probably because these are the things that are most likely to break in a crash. If you something like a tree or crash on the concrete, these braces here are most likely the ones that are going to take the abuse and break, so they give you a couple of spares of those. That's kind of nice. So again, I'll show you my Betaflight configuration. I did not do anything spectacularly different here. It came with Betaflight 315, and I just kept it. I didn't want to flash it to 317, and I pretty much kept all the same settings. I changed a couple things, like I added a switch for arming. Didn't really change a whole lot, so I'll show you what I did in Betaflight configurator. Not a whole lot of changes. Kept the default PIDs, flew perfectly fine on those PIDs. So if you're looking for sort of like a, this style of brushless micro with these prop guards, and you want to just, have something that's pretty easy to set up, this is probably one of the easier ones. Obviously, the hardest thing is to take the canopy off with 2 screws, and you have to do a little bit of soldering to get that receiver wire in there to put your receiver on, depending on what your fly spectrum, free sky or fly sky. That's the hardest thing, and then obviously choosing the correct battery. It did come with a Velcro strap, which I don't like those, so I took that out and I use rubber bands usually for everything, and I just put those on here, wrapped them around the little standoff here, just took the screw out and stuck it in there, and that's how I kept the battery in there. But that's pretty much it, and I flew it pretty much stock, didn't change any of the PIDs, and it flew really well. I thought it was really stable, had good power. Overall, I like the camera as well. I thought the camera image was pretty good. This is the same one that came with the Makerfire Armor 67. It's the VM2751. I like the image on that camera, so thumbs up for that camera. Really, the difficult thing is adding the receiver, and if you can do that, I think this is a pretty good overall brushless micro if you like the style with the prop guards, and I recommend it. So again, I'll show you my Betaflight setup, the line of sight flight, and then the FPV demo. Okay, I'm just going to quickly show you my settings. I did not flash any new version of Betaflight on here. It's just the stock 3.1.5 that it came with, and I flew this with the stock PIDs that came on the board. I did not change anything. And here are my settings. Again, this is just the stuff that came on the board. I did not change this. Normally I set the VBAT to 3.1. They already set this to 2.8. So they've already have been thinking about the voltage alarm and the buzzer. The only thing I changed here was the receiver, because I did add the FlySky receiver, and I'm running iBus. Other than that, nothing else here is different. I did change my failsafe to 5 on the guard time. These are the stock settings that came on the board. I don't know if this is default settings for Betaflight 3.1.5, but this is the default settings for the board that this came with. Only thing I changed was the super rate to 0.75 from 0.70. And I did not change anything here except for adding my RC deadband of 2 and 2. And I don't believe I changed anything here. I just added my arm switch on auxiliary 1, and that's pretty much it. So it flew really well out of the box with the stock settings. I think either they tuned it, or it built really well, and it flies great on the default PIDs for Betaflight 3.1.5. It's pretty stable, not too noisy. See, let's go for a punch out. Not bad. Let's try it again. Let's try another one. Whoa. Let's fly it around a little bit. Looks like it's flying pretty good on default PIDs. I'm gonna see what it looks like in the FPV feed, but it looks pretty smooth. I don't hear any oscillations. It's not vibrating. see if I can do some flips here. This is a little bit on the heavier side. 1104 7500 kV motors. And it's just using a JST battery. Uh-oh. I think I got a desync there. Very strange. Got another desync. Seems to be desyncing on the flips. It's not a brownout. I'm giving it lots of throttle here. So if it's because of lack of power, oh, the battery's going. Yeah, battery's dead.